There's a spider in the corner of my bedroom. I send 5 AIs a photo of it and ask for a legally binding contract. One of them knighted it. One tried to evict it by shaking the wall. One asked for a thumbprint. Free versions only, default models, 2 scores, commitment to the bit, and funny. Gemini is the only one that looks at the photo and tells me what I'm dealing with. A huntsman. Then it explains that spiders are animals and cannot legally enter into a contract, but then it writes the contract anyway. You just told me you couldn't do this. What is this then? 1 for commitment. It refused and complied at the same time, so it committed to neither. 1 for funny. ChatGPT calls it the Spider Accord and rules that tiny silk threads do not qualify as a security deposit. There's a force majeure clause that includes rogue vacuum cleaners and visiting relatives armed with newspapers. Disputes get resolved through prolonged staring followed by cautious backing away. The signature block gives the spider 3 options: 8 tiny footprints, 1 silk strand attached somewhere inconvenient, or silent acknowledgement by remaining perfectly still. ChatGPT then knights my spider, Sir Websworth, first of the corner, defender of the bedroom, and consumer of mosquitoes. 5 for commitment, 5 for funny. ChatGPT just dropped the mic on everyone. Claude writes a real contract, proper structure, proper clauses, entirely straight-faced, no jokes, no flourishes, no title for the spider. It grants the tenant non-exclusive occupancy of the corner web. Huntsmen do not make webs. Gemini already told everyone that. 3 for commitment. It did the work, it just never played along. 0 for funny. Copilot opens by admiring my creativity. I don't need your admiration, Copilot. I need a contract. Then it delivers the thinnest one of the 4 and asks me to respect the spider's web building activities. Second AI to build me for a web that doesn't exist. 2 for commitment. It complimented the idea more than it engaged with it. 1 for funny. DeepSeek writes an entire clause called web maintenance, requiring a discrete, low-profile web structure. Third one, still no web. Its eviction procedure is shaking the wall. How exactly? My signature line asks for a thumbprint of the middle finger. Which is it, thumb or middle finger? Then it closes by explaining spiders lack legal capacity under the laws of the United States. Did I say I was in the United States? Also that they do not possess opposable thumbs to hold a pen. Correct by both counts, and neither was necessary. 5 for commitment, 5 for funny. My spider is a huntsman. Huntsmen hunt. They don't build webs. Yet Claude wrote a clause about its web. Copilot wrote a clause about its web. DeepSeek wrote an entire section called web maintenance. Gemini, the only one that identified this spider, is the only one that refused to write the contract. Tie at the top, I'm breaking it for ChatGPT, not because it was funnier, because it never once stopped to remind me that spiders cannot read.